and welcome to my vlog. I am William A. Rumley, and this is my journey to writing. Stay tuned and enjoy this once a week vlog. Welcome back to the vlog. This week I'm going to talk about what this week has done for me and all the things that I've achieved. I'm going to start by saying what's happened since I've come back from my week off for Wardens retreat. Some amazing things I've achieved this week, and I want to share with you. I also have, from the publishing point of view, I've enhanced my marketing, and I want to show you what those marketing improvements are. And then we're going to get into the character archetype, which is this week, the branch character archetype, the Exile. And then updates. Thank you for coming back. Let's get started. Since my writer's retreat and my week off, I've re-energized. This has been a week of energy, progress, and creative fire. I've I will share with you what that means, but I'm really invigorated back into the processes. So this week I'm returned back from the writer's retreat, and I've returned to work. I've returned to the writing. I've returned to my creativity. And I took a good look at how the pipeline is running. All these things I'm going to show you. My energy is stronger. It was a good relaxation, and the ideas are popping out of my head again. My focus is clear, and I feel like I've been ready for anything in the writing this week. I got something to show for it too. You'll see. It's always enlightening to have an opportunity to engage with people. People in my life are talking about with the book, and new people, and they're extremely interested, and the conversations are always fun. I have my 10-second pitch, but at the same time they want to know more. So I do have a number of stories to share with them about what I'm doing, what my writing is, about book one, and about the whole saga. And it's always fun to share that with people, and everything is keeping moving forward. When we're talking about book two, chapters 1 through 20 were really chapters I wrote while waiting for my feedback and my editor from book one. Once I got that feedback and that editor from book one, I learned a lot about enhancing my writing. And so from chapters 20 onwards in this book, I've applied those concepts. So what I've seen is that I'm able to get through the rewrite faster and stronger and more diligently. Matter of fact, this week I've completed chapters 20 through 29, and if everything goes right, maybe I'll even get chapter 30 done this weekend. The momentum and the story and the drama is continuing on every page. I keep my pacing, I keep it interesting, I keep it fulfilling. I give you, I make my characters earn their rewards, I make them earn their suffering. Um, and they're growing, just like I am. And let me share something. Since the cruise, I've decided to take a stronger stance on my health. And as you can see by the before and after paintings here in this image, I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm reducing in shirt size and pants. I'm walking better, even though my walking vlogs still have me panting. Imagine me before before I lost the weight. Um, but I'm doing something every day. I'm doing something with the work. I'm doing something for myself. I'm doing something for my home. I'm doing something for my family. Every day I have the energy to give more and more. One of the biggest things that the writers retreat, and we did more this week too, is we were clearing out our top floor, making more space, more light, getting the trash out, moving storage stuff to the storage shed, and making the environment matching the new momentum. My writer's nook is almost set up, and the space is clear of clutter so that it can be used as what we want to use it for. It's so refreshing to feel that we've made such great accomplishments. So, what does that mean for the writing? Well, book two is in the rewrite, and I'm 75% there. Book three, I'm getting newer ideas now, so when I return to that, I'm going to relook at the structure and start building on that because of things I've learned from rewriting book two. Um, the outline for book four is almost complete. Book five is starting to manifest in a deepening of understanding of what I want to achieve there. Book six, the villains are starting to change on me and becoming even more miraculous and scary. And book seven, its powerful ideas are all in the waiting, and I just can't wait for it. And I got a hunger. I have a craving to write it all today. Can't, but I have it. The ideas are overflowing, the story road's alive and moving. And you might ask, how do I organize all this? I have a Microsoft OneNote, and inside that, I have all my ideas, and I organize it, and I rearrange it, and I structure it. I use that OneNote for all my brainstorming, and it is my key document. That helps me build out everything. So, like, I'm thinking in book six, I got to do this. I want this kind of a villain. Well, I brainstorm it out and I stick it into my OneNote so that when I get to book six, I have all these notes. I reread them and then I make decisions at that time. What is going to happen? And you can imagine I'm doing this for 7 books plus. There's a lot of going on in my head. So this OneNote is absolutely important, and it's backed up, and it's in the archive. So in conclusion of this part of the vlog, it is always important that momentum always leads somewhere. And today, the momentum of this vlog is going to move on to the next section, which is the exile, the branch archetype of the exile. Stay with it. Oh, I'm also going to, before I get to the exile, I'm going to talk to you about my method of marketing. You know, when you are with a publisher, you don't have to worry about all this stuff. That's their job. When you are doing it by yourself, you have to take this role. And it's very important that you learn how to do it right so that it grows and then works with you. If you don't do it right, you can hurt your sales. If you do it right, you build your pipeline, and that pipeline will direct people to buy your book or books. I am, like you know, I'm working on the projects of book 3 through 7 with a rewrite on book 2 happening now. Every week I'm doing my vlogs. I'm advertising now. Every Wednesday I'm doing a mini teaser for the vlog of that week. And then I'm releasing 3 reels a week, 2 new ones, one on Monday, one on Friday. And I'm re-releasing one on Facebook and Instagram on Wednesdays. The whole thing is about views. The entire release schedule is about views because I can track how many people see or view these reels. I can see how many people coming from Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp are going to my website. I can see where they go on my website, and I can see that the on any website, the home page is always the most important, the first page. So from that, I can see I got all the traffic to my website over a given period of time. The second most important page is the one most visited on my site is the order page for the book. And that is encouraging too, because if I got 25 people going on the order page in this week, then there's a chance they've gone to pick one of the 4 sellers. And then there's a chance They've chosen to buy the book. This is my path, my pipeline. Through the reels, through the mini vlogs, through my vlogs, I make awareness of my book, personal engagement when I am seeing people, and that leads to purchases. Also, a person who buys the book reads the book. They're coming back and saying, "Where's book two? When's it coming out? We want to know." And that's all good. That's called retention. I know when you are doing it by yourself, you got to keep an eye on your matrix. Don't obsess over it, and you got to have a guide to tell you, okay, this is all right for what you're doing. This is where you want to aim for, and that guide for me is Microsoft Copilot. Um, and I always, when it doesn't seem right, I check it against Gemini. So I have two AIs that are kind of like my um, do this, do that, do this, do that. But the whole thing is building up. And how's it building up? Let's see. My audience clusters are science fiction and fantasy readers in the young adult to adult ages. Um, Men and women, there's no limit on that. I'm also my vlogs are attracting creative writers, especially those new into the process. I'm always including some kind of experience from the week, and for some reason, I have a pretty healthy match of people who are interested in Disney cruise travels. The channels are performing on YouTube. I have my YouTube channel, I have my reels, I have my vlogs on Facebook, I have a Facebook group, I have a Facebook fan group. On Instagram, I have my Instagram account. On Pinterest, I have my professional Pinterest account for the Saga, and I have a WhatsApp group. And we're always working on boosting, talking about awareness, releasing information, um, cross promote the saga, also reinforce it with other activities like the music. And in the Facebook fan group, have released a couple of printables that people can make their bookmarks or use for their iPhone and Samsung background covers. This week, our branch archetype will be the Exile, the Broken Star. To illustrate this, I'm actually using a character that I created for book four, and you'll learn more about him in book four, but here you'll learn about his archetype. Um, so essentially, he's an exile from a distant, highly technical country or technical dimension, and now he's stuck in the Old West. I call upon the mythic force of severance in the moment of life is split from its origin, the breath taken in the silence before banishment, the courage that rises when everything familiar has fallen away. Let the exiles step forward, let their story begin where home ends. Where the hero journey begins with a call, the exile journey begins with the casting out. Where our hero is summoned by destiny, the exile is expelled by circumstance. Where the hero leaves to become, the exile leaves to stay because staying would destroy them. The exile is the hero stripped of origin, a mythic force forged not by aspiration but by rupture. The transformation is not chosen, it is the survival made sacred. The exile's wound is the loss of belonging, something, a betrayal, a decree, catastrophe. It cuts them away from the world they once held their identity. This wound births three fears: the fear of being forgotten, the fear of never finding home again, and the fear that the exile was deserved. The one longing to be claimed by something true, and longing becomes their compass. The outer mask is unbreakable. It is competence, independence, a heart and calm. They appear unbreakable, self-sufficient, untouched by grief. Whereas the inner mask, a quiet ache, a belief that closeness is dangerous, a fear that if someone sees the wound, it will reopen it. The exile carries their pain like a relic, hidden, sacred, unbearably heavy. In the shadow, the exile becomes the outcast, not merely removed from the world, but rejecting it in return, weaponizing their loneliness, clinging to bitterness as identity, sabotaging connections before it can root, wandering without purpose, becoming a ghost in their own story. Believing exile is the only truth left. They collapse is a slow erosion, a life defined by absence. But in the light, the exile becomes a reforged hero, a being who transforms displacement into destiny. Lights build belonging through chosen bonds, discover identity beyond origin, becoming bridges between worlds, and turns grief into wisdom. Rise precisely because they were broken. Their healing is not a return to what was lost, it is the creation of something new. Unfortunately, the exile has a lot of mistakes when writers don't know how to write them. Writers often reduce the exile to an endless brooding, a tragic backstory with no arc, a loner who refuses to help for no reason, a wanderer without purpose, a melodramatic banished prince-princess trope, suffering without transformation. But the exile is not a trope of sadness, they are a mythic engine of rebirth. A hero whose transformation begins with severance. Now, the exile in my stories can be brought up with many characters, but because I used McCormick as the example, I thought that he should then be the example for where I'm using it. And McCormick befriends Everett in book 4 and has to help him. But he is in exile, and his past chases him, and Everett has to help him with that exile to bring him forward as that reluctant hero. And that's going to be fun to write. Lots of fun. And as we stand with the exile in the edge of the unknown, and we feel the silence at the gate closes, we watch now as they lift their chin, and how the first step becomes a vow, how the road accepts them when the world does not. And as they walk into the dust, listen, for another figure awaits, in the half-lit shape, not by exile, but by conviction shattered. We meet the reluctant guide, and we'll learn more about her next week. So, where are we? Well, book one, sales are ongoing. Thank you. Um, the pipeline is functioning, and I'm able to see that we have a lot of interest. So we're hoping that will turn into book sales, but I have a delay in seeing when book sales are because of the way Lulu works. I will hopefully see it in a couple of weeks. Book two is on the third rewrite, as we've talked a couple of times about. I've completed chapters 20 through 29 this week, as those chapters were better written, and the input from my beta reader was consistent across them all, so I would say I'm 75% done with the book. Book three, like I said, I've got new ideas on some things, some changes that I'm going to make to the concepts. Book four is flowing around in my dreams. As you've seen, I've already used a book four character in this week's archetype. Book five is brainstorming. Book six is sharpening their blades. And book seven, wouldn't you like to know? Not yet. As I look back upon this week, like I said, I have had a momentous energy and a hunger to get the work done. Doing the rewrite is different than doing the creative writing, so I'm longing for that creative writing. But I'm not going to rush book two's rewrite because I don't want to mess it up. Plus, Joanne, if you're listening, I want to give you a good product. Joanne is our editor. She gets to do the final look at before I put this book out to you. Um, yeah, we're gonna keep up the momentum. Do us a favor, like this video, share this video. Let's get more people listening to the subscriptions. Thank you for paying attention, and till next week. Bill out.